This is the farmhouse where I grew up, where my father grew up, where my grandfather grew up, where my great-grandfather grew up. The main house was built in 1860. We got electricity in 1943 with the Rural Electrification Act. And now what I am doing is I'm removing the majority of the 1960 updates and reverting the era back to somewhere between 1920 and 1950. I'm going to show you each room in the order that I did them years ago. While I am no more of a carpenter or a designer than any member of my family has ever been, I'm doing it to suit me and my tastes. Back in chapter 1, I talked about the ugly green rug, and here it is in all its glory. I don't remember my parents putting it down, but they must have. So that's coming up, and we want to take a look at some of the problems with the floor. It's not level. I'm not sure why. We'll find out. And over in the corner, you can see that every nail has rust on it. Obviously, there's moisture getting through the wall, and I assume on the other side of that wall is lath and plaster. That beadboard, or whatever you want to call that board, it was put up sometime in the 60s. That's the last time that the room was redone. And at that time, we were hoping that my father would turn it into a game room, although we ended up with another bedroom. It's the only one that is downstairs, because the second bedroom, actually there was 3 bedrooms downstairs. One bedroom got turned into the bathroom back probably late World War II when we got power. The other bedroom was taken down to enlarge the living room. That's that section, that narrower section by the bathroom door. So that was an old bedroom, and that got converted to a larger living room. So now we're down to just one bedroom on the first floor. So anyway, we got the rug up, and what that black stuff, what you see on the floor, that was the foam backing for the rug, but it had pulled off the rug, and it's a powdery black substance that is just miserable to deal with. It gets on everything. And under that is linoleum. I do not remember the linoleum, but it must have been there. And then they put the rug down. I'm not sure why, except that might have been the time that we put the rug in the living room, and they wanted to put a rug in the bedroom. Here's a close-up of the pattern of the original linoleum. And with that pulled up, what you see here is looks like 4x8 sheets of masonite pressed paperboard. And with that pulled up, we are down to the original 1860 vintage floorboards, and you can see they're painted the original ochre. And then around the edges, it looks like there was some kind of a vinyl or linoleum or something, and apparently there was a rug in the middle because the room is bordered by that, whatever that stuff is. As I'm starting to pull it up, it's a little bit like a paper with a kind of a maybe like a tar paper backing. Apparently that's what was available in 1860, give or take. Been there ever since. It's just been covered up by layers of flooring. So as you can see, I had to get out my orange roofing shingle remover to get the masonite up just the way I did in the living room. And then it became really obvious why they put down the masonite. It looks like as the house slowly settled in the center, the center beam had settled some. We got that fixed now to keep it from settling anymore. But anyway, looking at the picture here, you can see that as the floor approached the 2-foot thick stone wall, the stone wall obviously didn't settle because it's on bedrock, but the rest of the house, when that center beam support settled, it has separated, and there is about a 3/4 inch gap, and that's why they went over it with the masonite to smooth out the floor instead of actually repairing the problem. FYI, we will be repairing the problem. And here it shows where the boards have dried and separated just like they did in the living room. And in a few places, you could practically see down cellar just the way you could in the living room. Now this shot at floor level gives you a good look at how those two boards or so against the left wall that are over the 2-foot thick stone wall have stayed put, and the rest of the floor dropped. So I got out my Ryorbi laser level and set it up on the floor of the living room. That's the vinyl floor that you saw us put in book 9. And you can notice that the floor definitely takes a dip towards the living room. Out by the wall, it's just about what it is in the living room. However, there is a substantial dip coming towards the door going into the living room. We'll have to address that. And finally, with all the masonite pulled up, you can see how the boards, even over the wall, has cracked and separated. So all of that's going to have to get addressed. There's a lot that's going to have to be addressed on this floor by the looks of it. Here's a close-up shot. If I put a flashlight there, you can look right straight down and see the stone wall. So obviously there was a lot of cold air coming through, so my father put down the masonite to take care of the air coming in. I'm hoping that I can do a little bit better job than that. As we pull back to the far left corner, you can see exactly what we were dealing with for a floor. It doesn't look good, and the boards don't even go all the way across the room. They stop on the one beam just shy of the stone wall. So that is going to get addressed in chapter 4.